Welcome back to National Report. House Republicans now floating the idea of an impeachment inquiry into the president. Chairman of the Oversight Committee, Congressman James Comer, was on Greg Kelly Reports last night. He responded to whether or not President Biden might face impeachment.
Well, I know how I would vote, but again, that's a decision for Speaker McCarthy. But I'll tell you this, right before I came on the show, Speaker McCarthy called me and I gave him a rundown of what was said today, and we talked about steps moving forward. So, stay tuned.
Well, Tudor Dixon is the host of the Tudor Dixon podcast, and T.W. Shannon is the former Speaker of the Oklahoma House of Representatives. They both join us live. Thank you both. We appreciate that. So a lot to talk about here. You can get to the impeachment inquiry, Devin Archer's testimony, or at least what we know about it. Obviously, what you've heard in terms of what the transcript could say, Hunter Biden, et cetera. Do you think, though, I'll start with Tudor on this one. Do you think, though, the Republicans would move forward with an impeachment inquiry for President Biden? Does it appear that way, that that's the direction that they want to head? And would they have, again, the proof to do so?
Well, I think they have the proof to do that. It is a political calculation, I believe, at this point, because do you want to suddenly have this hanging over the 2024 election? Because our opportunity is to get Joe Biden out of office completely and say goodbye to him. That allows people in their districts to focus on the issues that are important and not be dragged to the right by folks who might be saying, we need to go further, we need to go further, we need to go further. We need to win in 24, and we need to say goodbye to the Biden family. And if there's an investigation after that, I think that's the appropriate way to go.
All right. We'll wait and see again what happens. Maybe in the next several days or so, we will know more from what was actually said, according to this transcript. Let's talk about the race for 2024, shall we? I mean, we're talking about now two frontrunners, the families, Trump and Biden. But then there's also Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. And our own Mike Carter just had a one-on-one conversation with the Florida governor. He says his low national poll numbers are not reflective of what voters really think. Take a listen.
Make a good point. This is not a national primary, so people will do a national poll, but we don't vote nationally in Republican primary. You do Iowa, then New Hampshire, and then South Carolina. So we're on the ground focusing on those voters, and you're exactly right. Those early states, it's much tighter. It's a competitive race. And so I think what we have to do is, most of these Republicans, they know I'm governor. They know we've done a good job in Florida. They're happy with seeing Florida do well, but they don't know a lot about my biography, being a Navy veteran, an Iraq veteran. They don't necessarily know about me being a father with 3 young kids, and they don't necessarily know about all the accomplishments we've had in Florida. Like, they know me for standing up for COVID, which was a huge issue. They know me for standing up for the kids against Disney, but a lot of them don't know we've paid off a quarter of our state debt since I've been governor. We've cut taxes by billions and billions of dollars. We have universal school choice, 50-year low in the crime rate, all those things. And then, what's your vision for the country? Okay, if you become president, what issues are you going to tackle? And when we get in front of voters and we sketch out that vision, we get a lot of support. So yesterday we announced our economic program. I had a number of guys come up to me saying, you won me over. Thanks. So you just got to do that. And New Hampshire voters and Iowa voters, they want to kick the tires. They want to see you. They want you to have to earn their vote. You are not entitled to be nominated. You're not entitled to votes. You've got to earn them, and we're going to earn them. And so we've been in.
All right. So he's talking about all these early primary states, maybe alluding to also swing states, TW, where people might like what they saw in Florida and it could resonate in maybe Georgia or Arizona. What do you think of the governor's argument now that you might not see it in the national polls, but get him in state by state, he could do okay?
Well, there's no question that Ron DeSantis, has a great record to run on as a successful governor of Florida. However, his campaign had a lot of stumbles out of the gate. I mean, he presented himself first as the alternative to Donald Trump without all the drama, but he wasn't quite able to seal the deal. That the national press, this is much like 2016 all over again, where it's very tough for any candidate to get airtime outside of Donald Trump, who's taken up a lot of the oxygen in the room. Listen, the former president is extraordinarily popular. among Republicans. And I think the Democrats have coordinated an effort to make him the nominee because they see him as having problems in the general. I don't think it's by coincidence that these indictments are uniting the Republican Party around Donald Trump. The Democrats know that. They think he's the better choice for them in 2024. And we'll see what happens. Ron DeSantis, there's still a lot of time on the clock. I think there's an opportunity for him through some debates, through some earned media, to start closing the gap with the president. But he's also got, candidates like Tim Scott and Nikki Haley. All are great conservatives who can make a real good case of why they would be the president. The good news for us, though, is the nominee for president for the Democrats is going to be Joe Biden. I think any Republican has a real shot to beat Joe Biden, especially as we learn more about this crime cartel and what's happened with the Biden's peddling influence and Hunter Biden, turning the White House into a crack house.
GOP continues to investigate that. We appreciate the time. T.W. Shannon and Tudor Dixon joining us live. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Okay.